All right, fantasy romanciers, welcome to another episode of Phantology. We have the full crew on this time, and we are going to be covering January 2021 fantasy news, as well as kicking off our February competition, which, because of Valentine's Day, which is in February, obviously, we're going to cover top fantasy romances between characters. So Ben, Ryan, Josh, Jake, we have the full crew on. How's everyone doing?
Good.
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 Excellent. You might know some increased audio-ness from all of us because we made it known to our family and friends what we wanted for Christmas. Had to do with podcasting and YouTubing. And so
Yeah,
And that hurts, man. That hurts. I literally got nothing for Christmas after asking for stuff. The only reason I have a webcam is because Steven gave me his old webcam.
Same, Ryan, except I didn't ask for anything either. So
sorry, you guys are slowly upgrading. Also, I don't know about audio-ness as a word. We do review books, so that's good.
part of reviewing books is knowing when you can take an artistic liberty, Stephen, and suggest a new word.
Okay, Patrick Rothfuss there with your new words. Okay, let's jump into January news. So there actually wasn't that much. I was trying to look through what happened in January, didn't come up with all that much. And Ryan, you'll be happy to know that all of the things that I came up with revolved around TV shows, which I know is not always your favorite.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Piece of news conversation.
But real stuff.
But there was some interesting news on the TV show front. So Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings show that Amazon Prime is developing. We got some big plot details there. It's been pretty locked down with the Lord of the Rings show for a while. So we finally know something, I guess, right?
Yeah, we know that it's supposed to take place. Oh, dang, I'm going to butcher the names of these things. But on the island, the Numenor, yeah. So that's going to be part of it, right? Second Age.
Thank you, Jake.
And that there's going to be a new big bad guy that wasn't really covered in the trilogy of movies that we already have.
Melkor.
Right.
Melkor.
Yeah.
Melkor / Morgoth, the master of Sauron. So I think Sauron will still be in it, but he's more like the henchman at this point, I guess.
Yeah, he's like Melkor's apprentice.
So you like the Saruman of Sauron? Sauron is too. No.
I don't know if we'd have to get more into the lore of Lord of the Rings, which none of us are real experts on.
Yeah.
But I think it is going to pull a lot from the Silmarillion more so. And I don't know, maybe they're even making up some of their own plot lines. Hopefully not too much, because we know that when these epic fantasy shows go into making up their own plot lines, sometimes it's not the best.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to, at least with the details though, because the Silmarillion's really sweeping broad strokes of plot. It's not very lots of it most of it isn't very character driven, so they're gonna have to do that to some
One
extent.
page is like 100 years pass.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not. It's gonna. So much of it. This is gonna be dependent on how good the writers of the show are.
Mm-hmm.
Which they're pretty new, right? At least the showrunners have only done the Star Trek TV series before, I think. Or not TV series, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies.
Oh,
those are pretty good, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Star Trek fans love them, but
yeah. One interesting tidbit: the rings were forged in the Second Age. I learned that from Lord of the Rings Wikia. So that may be part of the show plotline. I don't know. Could be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lord of the Rings, that's all we know so far, really. I mean, there were some actors announced, but I don't really know who any of them are. Hopefully we get more. That's probably like a 2022 show, to be honest. We're still a ways away. Other TV show news, Powder Mage trilogy was announced that it is being adapted for TV, and it has some people actually attached to it, so it seems like it's a little farther along than just having the rights sold, like a lot of our other favorite series are. So it seems like this could be a real thing. I mean, not guaranteed, right? Because Name of the Wind and King Killer was supposed to be a TV show years ago, and that has gone sideways. So howdly Powder Mage works out, but that would be really fun to see come to the small screen.
What network is it associated with?
I don't know if they decide. Do they decide that right away, or do they just like come up with the production studio first?
I don't know.
I feel like usually the production studios are tied to networks, right?
Sometimes it depends. Like Amazon has its own production
Right.
studio, but they also will shop, like normal networks will shop around for shows. Like if it's, CBS will bid on it, CBS, ABC, NBC, will all like bid on a show.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's true. And
But I
I
guess
think
stuff
with,
like HBO or Netflix and Amazon have their own
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
and I guess with like the Wheel of Time, I think Sony picked it up and then they went to Amazon to actually do the production of it.
Yeah.
So
And same with, actually, back to Lord of the Rings, I think Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams' production company, is attached to it,
oh really?
which is where those writers come from. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that makes
okay.
sense. Yeah.
But the Powder Mage series, great trilogy of books, and I think could be pretty fun to see on screen.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy show that we haven't really seen on screen yet, like that style of show.
Yeah, that has really good action in it, and I think it's different enough that it won't be seen as like, oh, this is the next Game of Thrones. It'll like have its own identity and fan base.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a much lesser known series in fantasy right now,
Yeah.
but I am excited about it. I think partly because it's lesser known, it has maybe a little bit more leeway to succeed. I think when there's a bigger fan base, it almost makes it harder for the show to be good, because any move that is off of source material, just the fan base will just completely tear it apart. And so I think that this has the opportunity to really grow the fan base for the Powder Mage trilogy, and hopefully allow it to be more well received, if that makes sense.
I like that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I just wonder how dark they're going to go with it. Like, this is something that they could not go dark at all, like almost have a TV 14 style to it, where, it's not super gory, or they could go like the opposite and darken it up quite a bit.
They could have 300 style blood everywhere.
Yeah.
I haven't read them in a while, but the books felt a lot more visceral than TV 14, but like you said, it just depends on how they want to adapt them.
Yeah.
So let's talk Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time is slowly doling out more pieces of information. And this month we got a 15, 20-second concept art video where Rafe was kind of talking about things a little bit. He said a sentence or two, and then they had a few shots of different scenes of the artwork. And it looked cool, and fans went crazy about it. I mean, there wasn't really all that much, no solid information still as far as a release date or trailer or anything like that. But it is nice to see things like this, and I was excited whenever these little nuggets come out. They're great.
The Dusty Wheel had Daniel Green on their show, and towards the end, Rafe jumped in on the live chat and answered some questions about it. They just talked about the concept art and stuff. No, I don't think there are really any big info dumps or any revelations there, but that was kind of cool.
Right.
Yeah, they've been a lot more active on Twitter, like even just replying to people and just participating with stuff. They've always been good at it, but I feel like they've, stepped it up to the next level. Yeah, they started following a ton of people, right, on Twitter time.
Yeah, they followed a bunch of they followed a bunch of art and content creators the other day. I don't think we got the follow for some reason. I guess we're not we're not that much of a Wheel of Time show compared to all these other ones. We're like 5 to 10% Wheel of Time, so understandable. But
I'm sure that was the only reason we didn't get the
Wheel of Time on Prime. If you're watching, give us a follow. We're cool too.
Yeah.
I heard a theory that I think Nablus said this in a video a couple like a week or so ago, that for Amazon's what was their last big production they did?
Carnival Row.
Carnival Row. I can't remember if this was Carnival Row or The Boys. but they, or maybe it was Jack Ryan, but they released a trailer during the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, I think that was Jack Ryan.
Was it Jack Ryan? So what he was saying in his video
Very
was
exciting.
if we're getting Wheel of Time this end of this year, holiday season, then maybe we could hope for a Super Bowl commercial. And the fact that they're like ramping up.
I'm already hyped. I'm committed to watching all the commercials.
Yeah. And they're like,
All right,
like you
all
guys
you
are saying,
fantasy nerds, watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Watch the sports ball thing.
But so that's something exciting to look forward to. We're gonna overhype it. Not saying it's actually gonna happen, but
Ryan kind of hinted at this with his joke there, but Jack Ryan and Super Bowl fans overlap a little bit more than Wheel of Time fans and Super Bowl,
But if they want it to be like the next Game of Thrones, a Super Bowl commercial is what you'd want to do.
Yeah.
Just like throw out some scantily clad women and man, you're halfway there.
Yeah, get those football meatheads.
I feel like there are quite a few sports fans in our server. I mean, there are certainly others who are like, no sports. I don't like them. But
yeah, we have an outside interest channel and it constantly revolves around sports. So
yeah.
It is what people are interested
in that channel. Okay, so let's talk. There was also some news around Song of Ice and Fire. They're doing another prequel series now with Dunk and Egg, which is like these two kind of traveling adventures that George R. R. Martin has written a little bit on. I actually haven't read the Dunk and Egg, any of that stuff. So I'm really kind of trying to act like I know what I'm talking about. But apparently this is a prequel series that is like maybe gonna get made. It's kind of interesting because they first announced 4 prequels and they pulled the plug on all of them, except for House of the Dragon, which is the Fire and Blood adaptation of the Targaryens back in the day. And now they've got this other one. So I don't really know what to expect on this. This could go nowhere.
Yeah, as maybe a little bit more than a casual Game of Thrones fan, like I had no idea what Duncan and Egg was and was completely lost when they said that. So I think anybody that's only watched the show would have no excitement levels for this unless they like love the show.
I would honestly be kind of surprised to see 2 prequels for Game of Thrones for Song of Ice and Fire come out at the same time. I think they should just stick with House of the Dragon and hope that that's a success.
Game of Thrones just still has a bad taste in my mouth from season 8. And I think for quite a few people, honestly, all the true Game of Thrones fans now, they just want Winds of Winter. And I don't know how excited people are for another TV show at this point.
I really love the world. And so I would be excited to see just anything that kind of delves more into that. Whether it's the prequel about the Targaryens or the Dunk and Egg, but I think Ryan's right. Like it seems like the interest of Game of Thrones has like completely died.
Okay, speaking of shows that are probably going to go nowhere, there was some random news about this Harry Potter TV show, and there's like no supporting sources for it. It's just like Harry Potter TV show adaptation is coming. And sources confirm it, and it's like, well, this is
but no, it wasn't the Hollywood Reporter, which usually like if it's not just some clickbait site.
Okay,
like the Hollywood Reporter is it's pretty well sourced stuff. It
would
be like
haven't
sources?
The actual studios like denied that anything is happening?
No, they like refuse to comment on it.
Okay,
I think we can look it up, but from when I was looking into it, it was like, yeah, this is there's probably at least talks going on to make this like at high levels.
So we may need some tinfoil hats for this one.
This is Fantology's moment to get some breaking news, get a scoop. We just gotta go hound, these people and get the scoop on the story.
Yeah, I'm in a position personally to do that, so I'll get right on that, man.
Yeah, I got some connections in the industry, so I'll just go hit them up and we'll see what they.
We're just gonna go to Universal Studios and just like start asking people.
What if we pivot Fantology's purpose from reviewing books to investigative journalism within the realms of fantasy? And
I
we
can
just
see it happening.
start hounding all these production companies for all the rumors.
We just travel to the sets and just like look through a telescope or binoculars. I don't know. Telescope is more fantasy like. So
Yeah.
use a
So we're pivoting away from our
Omnioculars
yeah, nice,
to go Harry
nice,
Potter.
Steven.
Yeah.
So we're pivoting away from our initial pivot to a Dresden Files tour company that tours around Chicago.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Okay.
I wasn't a part of
mentioned
that
the-
pivot. My
I
bad.
mentioned the Dresden Files tour, which Phantology will be doing at one point, to my uncle, who's a big Dresden fan, and he was looking to buy a ticket. So
Oh.
people are interested. It's getting around.
Well, Ryan can be a tour guide now because he's just about finishing up the series right now. So
Yeah.
Can we go to Fairyland?
Yeah, man, we'll go into the realms of the Fae for sure, into the Never Never.
So wait,
Yeah,
real quick
never,
before we
never.
get off Harry Potter, just
Yeah.
just wondering, what do you guys want to see in the show? Like, do you want to see a continuation of the Golden Trio? Do you
No.
want to see Marauders show with?
I know
That would
Steven
be-
wants a show all about Hedwig and Dobby.
Yeah, you listened to the recent podcast where I trashed everyone's affection for Hedwig and Dobby. I'm sorry about that, but I'm not excited for a show. I can't
Zero
see
excitement.
I can't see a Hogwarts TV show being good.
Okay,
The idea is compelling, but I can't see it being executed well.
I think it would be fun if we saw James and Sirius and Snape and a younger Dumbledore all at Hogwarts.
But we already know what happens with that story. Like, we already know the main plot beats.
There's
we
a
already
lot to
know that.
explore there.
You
Kind
already
of.
know what happened between Edward and Bella, and everybody still bought Midnight Sun.
Same with the Star Wars
Did they?
prequels.
You're spoiling my fantasy picks, Ryan.
Your fantasy picks? Are you referring to your romance picks?
Oh boy.
Or are you just
Or his fantasies in general.
Okay.
I honestly, I think I would have been excited for this had Fantastic Beasts not already kind of soured my interest in any Harry Potter prequels.
Yeah.
I think they had like such good potential to explore like Dumbledore in the past and the
Josh is
Grindelwald
living right
thing,
now?
but
It's good.
it's not though. It's just not compelling, and
It's like
not
okay, but it's
interesting.
not good.
It's okay. It's like
It's not like a terrible movie, but it's like one of those movies where you go and you watch it and you're like, this did nothing for me.
Yeah, if not for the Harry Potter connection, it
Yeah.
would be
Exactly.
I think I've fallen asleep every time I've tried to watch the second movie,
the second movie was
including
a
in
bit
the
slow.
theaters.
The second movie was a bit slower, but I think I still I don't know. With them, I still have hopes. I also think that if we got a Harry
That would
Potter,
be cool.
the Founders
Oh, okay.
series
Oh,
would
yeah.
be really, really good. Because
That's-
Okay.
That's the other thing. The world is really cool, and I'm sure there are really good stories there. I'm just kind of like, I've seen people try to do that with good material and kind of fail at it.
so
What about a sitcom with Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter? See how he's adjusting to life as a dad.
You
Harry
get
Potter.
like with a laugh track on the background.
Yeah.
And
Have you been
I
watching
would watch
WandaVision?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like Harry Potter WandaVision.
So I either think that like a detective style show with like a low level person like an Auror with Harry as his boss, where he was like kind of reporting to Harry. I think that would be cool. Or
That would be cool.
Or like a
I like the Founders
series.
I can get behind the Founders. And then they found the school. Obviously, the first students come in. There's got to be some teen angst between the students.
Well, and you can see the creation of the Chamber of Secrets, right? That would be fun.
Yeah.
Sure, you could see all of
My
that.
my only criticism with doing anything that's a continuation is then you have to build up some other conflict that rivals the Voldemort conflict.
Not
Whereas
if
if
you
you
keep-
go in the past, you have Grindelwald, you have like other stuff you can really work with. But I
Not
feel
if
like
it's a sitcom.
I don't,
yeah. If it's a sitcom, we're golden.
I don't think you do,
As
Jay.
a snitch.
I think you can have like a detective style show that like there's still like a really bad murderer or something that's on the loose. He might not be a
Okay,
Voldemort.
Josh is like
I would-
CSI Hogwarts over here.
I wouldn't be interested in something so episodic though. Like
Yeah.
I would want like a nice overarching plot that like follows the whole season and like multiple
like
seasons.
what about like rounding up Death Eaters? Like
Okay, I think
Nah.
we've beat this. We've beat
Okay.
this.
Hey,
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm a
I
big
like
Harry
the-
Potter fan, and I don't talk about it enough. And we got big news this month, so I just wanted to talk about it. Okay.
Big rumors this month, but
we are also trying to figure out for Fantology, me and Nathan and Dan, the Harry Potter crew, trying to figure out what our next Harry Potter episode's going to be because we wrapped up all the books. We're thinking like a Harry Potter what if episode where we say like, what if this small thing changed? How would everything else play out?
you guys aren't gonna. You don't want to even touch the cursed child.
I mean, that literally
Not
is the
even-
plot of
No.
Cursed Child.
Yeah, it's the biggest Harry Potter what if we have.
That
No,
is
no, we're
exactly
not
what the
doing-
Cursed Child does.
We're not doing that. We're doing it in a funnier way.
No, but that's
I
what
think-
the Cursed Child.
I think it could be good to do the cursed child and say, here's all the things that did not work, and here's some things that were good ideas that didn't work. Although I enjoyed reading it when I read it.
I don't
So.
really want to read The Cursed Child again, though.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. We talked about WandaVision. It's going on right now. Are you guys watching?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I am watching.
I'm really liking it. I haven't seen today's episode yet because we're recording this on the 29th.
I just
seen
watched
episode
it
4.
like 20 minutes ago.
Oof.
It was
All
good.
right. Yeah,
I
I'm
liked
really
it,
enjoying
yeah.
it.
I think 20 minutes ago you were on this
I know. I
podcast.
was gonna say everybody's gonna be checking the timestamp. right
Timeline
now.
does not check out.
Legit.
unless it,
Might be
unless
the
it
point
does.
of WandaVision.
Unless Steven was in WandaVision 20 minutes.
I can
Who's
multitask the
doing this to you,
podcast.
Steven?
So Ben is watching, it sounds like. Josh is watching.
I'm a couple episodes behind. I just got
Okay.
to the Beehive dude.
Okay.
Okay, so you're 2 behind.
Yeah. No, it's a good show for sure. This gets me excited about Disney Plus. And I mean, I'm pretty much committed, locked into a Disney Plus contract for a long time now because shows like this are going to come out.
Because actual good content is coming out on the platform.
Yeah.
That's a good
Pretty-
reason to keep you.
Basically, yeah. I mean, previously there wasn't all that much, and now there is. Okay, also the Stand TV show. I think Josh and Jake, you guys are watching that, and you guys just
I'm also
released
watching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah, I mean, there's some things that don't work about it. The biggest problem people generally have about it that I've been seeing is that they do time jumps, whereas the book is just all chronological order. It just goes from point to point to point to point. And this will have like a scene where the pandemic is just starting, or the characters are just starting, and then it'll jump ahead to where everybody's like together. And so I don't mind it, but maybe it's because I just had read the book that nothing was going to be a spoiler for me anyway. Other than that, I think they've done a really good job with keeping the characters pretty true to how they were in the books, at least the main ones. And
So
some
I
of
think-
go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I might be the only person that's watching it that hasn't read the book.
You are.
And yeah, I think that the characters are very well done in my opinion. Like whenever certain characters on the screen, I get really creeped out, and so I think that's a mark of a well done character. And I'm pretty invested in finding out what happens. I didn't actually mind the jumping viewpoints and jumping timelines as much, just because that kind of stuff appeals to me, kind of like the mystery. And so I don't know. I've really enjoyed it. I would say it's probably been the best TV show I've seen recently.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
It has
So-
like a 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb, which is like pretty low for
Yeah.
IMDb. But I don't know if it's because people are just kind of trolling it. I don't know, but I would put it more of like a 7 out of 10 or
Yeah,
higher. It's really good. So
it's been the best TV show of 2021 for me. So
I haven't seen it yet, but speaking of time jumps, is it kind of similar to The Witcher?
it's not as big of a mystery as The Witcher was, where you're trying to put stuff together. It's more of like, here's the character in these scenes, and then like
yeah.
obviously here's the character a few months ahead.
it's more like if
Oh,
you think
weird! They're
about like
going
a,
ahead. I just assumed it would be like starting in the middle of it and then doing flashbacks to how they got there.
That's kind of what they're doing. Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
okay.
yeah.
yeah, it's like here's this, like you start off in a pandemic, or maybe you don't even start off in a pandemic, but like you kind of know what's going to happen, and then you kind of jump back and kind of get this character's backstory, and then you do the same thing for the next couple characters in the next episode. And I think by the time I'm where I'm at, I think that kind of has stopped, and you're more just kind of like linear timeline. So
Yeah.
that was only, I could see that being disorienting for the first couple episodes, but if you push through that, you're golden.
That's it for me for news. Do you guys have any more news items for the month?
Yes.
Isn't Black Widow coming to Disney Plus this year?
Yeah.
Some
With
point.
like a $30 early access price again.
Ooh.
When is it coming? Do we even know? Did they say? They probably moved around the dates so many. I stopped paying attention.
That's what happened with me.
They
Yeah.
didn't, but I do have some insight. Who was I watching? Was it Daniel Green that was covering this? Somebody was covering this. But the reason why it took them so long to actually release this on Disney Plus is because Scarlett Johansson had in her contract that it had to premiere in theaters, and apparently that's like a pretty common thing in major blockbuster contracts is that it has to go to theaters first, and so they apparently renegotiated or offered to pay her a ton of money. I don't know, but or did the dual, because it's still dual releasing where theaters are open. It's still coming out in theaters as well. But
yeah, you don't want that blemish on your record of having like a home video made.
Yeah.
Well, especially like this is her like first like leading role and
in the Marvel universe.
In the Marvel universe.
Yeah. No, I totally get why she might have a problem with it. And they get a lot of royalties on like the back end after like a certain number of ticket sales. I think it's pretty common for them to make royalties past that. And so it's probably a pretty big financial hit for her too. But
I just hope it's better than Wonder Woman 1984. That was
you know what? If there's a theme of this week, it's the fact that people that have millions of dollars are getting theirs. So Scarlett Johansson,
hedge funds.
Yeah, Wall Street bets you all day long.
Side note: invest in GameStop.
Invest in GameStop a week ago.
Yeah. Steven, you're missing Fate the Week saga premiering on Netflix.
Not a thing.
It is totally a thing that everybody should go watch.
I watched like 3 minutes of it. It was stupid. I'm not watching that show.
I made it through 20 minutes of it.
I am on episode 3 right now. It is not.
Come on,
it's
man.
Not terrible. I don't like. It's decent. You got like the teenagers at the school, and you got the mystery, and you got the changeling, and you got the Nickelodeon connection. I mean, it's all there, man.
What's the Nickelodeon connection?
Thank goodness for the Nickelodeon connection.
Can't have a show without that.
Apparently, the show like was an animated TV series on Nickelodeon. I think it came out like for people that were a bit younger than us.
How did I miss that?
I don't know, man. Apparently, you should watch more than 3 minutes of it because,
dude, it was so cheesy. I watched 3 minutes of it, and they're like, "Oh, this is our new world and our school."
You're like,
it's like, this is so cheesy. I'm not watching this. This is
Steven,
low.
you're like
budget,
our friend. You're like our friend that read 3 pages of Mistborn and put it down. How can you even know if a TV show is good?
No. I'm able to judge quality of TV shows. I've seen a few.
If Steven is willing to watch a season or 2 of Riverdale but can't make it through this show, then I mean,
this show's better than.
Hey, I gave up on Riverdale. I made the right call.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like you give TV shows a chance if you made it through more than a season of Riverdale.
Josh gave it a bit more of a chance too, and so we have 2 people coming to the same conclusion.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're looking for something, if you're not going to spring for the CBS and The Stand, then why not give the Fate the Week saga a fighting chance on Netflix? You know.
So if you don't want to watch the Stephen King show about a pandemic, then instead watch this cheesy show about changelings in a British school.
Ben must be getting paid by Netflix.
Did you also like Cursed? Did you like Cursed as well?
Cursed? What do I
mean? 13 Reasons Why girl.
The girl King Arthur show?
No. I stopped that after she slaughtered a bunch of wolves, and you got like the blood splattering on the screen. I
guess I'll shamelessly admit that I watched all of it, but then by the end I was like, why did I do that? That was
stupid. Maybe I just haven't had that experience yet.
Yeah, that's how I knew. After watching Cursed, I was like, I'm not doing this again because it's not worth it at the end.
Well, we also have that 1.5 speed function on Netflix now. So
hit us up on Discord if you want Ben to tell you how to hack Netflix to make it go faster.
No, this isn't a hack anymore. This is just on the app. You have the.
Oh yeah, only if you watch on the app though. Not
that's the only place I watch, man.
All right. Any other news?
No.
Okay, we haven't really done news for the past 10 minutes, but we're done with news now. we're rolling into February's Twitter competition. If you don't know, Fantology runs a Twitter bracket every month where we say top 3 X in fantasy. And this month it is top 3 fantasy romances to hit up the Valentine's Day February connection. So it's a little tricky. We've kind of talked about the best way we're going to do this in terms of spoilers, right? Because saying that any 2 characters are in a romance is some kind of spoiler. We're not going to, I mean, some don't go well, some last longer. It's kind of hard to define what exactly would be a spoiler and what's not. So our conclusion is we are going to talk about these things all the way through, but we are going to give you notifications prior and tell you what we're going to be talking about. So if you want to tune out for a second or two, we'll let you know how long to tune out for. You can hop back in on the next person's top 3, but this is going to be full spoiler. I warned you now, so don't get mad if you get something spoiled for you. And you don't want to get spoiled because romances are fun to explore. At least I like the cheesy romances.
And we're going to stay away from saying like that Edward and Bella end up together, right? Like we probably won't say that. Like we might say that our favorite romance is Bella and Jacob, right? So take that for how you will. That doesn't mean they end up together or whatever. I'm just kind of using that as an example.
Is a good romance one that doesn't end together though?
Yeah, it can be. It can be for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So just because I say something's a good romance does not mean that the characters end up together. It doesn't mean that both characters survive. It doesn't mean it just means that when they're on screen together, I enjoyed them as a romantic item.
Yeah, so we'll try to talk about the actual plot details of the romance in question with enough vagaries. So if you skip through the spoiler warning, yeah, that's a word, maybe. If you skip through that, we'll just say like, oh, their connection was really strong, and ultimately the way it played out was really nice, something like that. And so if you know what it is, you'll kind of know what we're talking about, but at the same time, you won't be fully spoiled. So that's the deal, guys. You can't break that contract.
Okay, let's do that.
You're off the Fantology 5.
Yeah, I don't want the YouTubers coming after me for spoilers.
So yeah, big red spoiler. And I guess we should say if you want to be involved in the fantasy competition as well, kind of same rules apply, right? Like, sorry if you get something spoiled through the competition, but
yeah, Twitter, we've talked about this. Twitter is dark and full of spoilers, so we will make it very clear that this month is going to have more spoilers than usual on our Twitter posts. But it's going to be there. So, maybe watch for that if you are a Twitter follower.
Maybe we can tag the beginning of each Twitter post saying spoilers for these specific series or books. And then
please don't go out and unfollow Fantology on Twitter.
I probably shouldn't advocate for that.
Yeah,
that's good, Jake. I see a lot of posts that are like spoilers following ... and then they say what it is. So that seems to be a Twitter acceptable thing.
Might be a little bit harder to do with a poll because I think they show the poll options like front and center.
Yeah.
But if you just say spoilers for these books first, even if they've seen the what the poll is, then it what the options are to vote.
Well, the options to vote, the way that I formatted the options to vote are the name of the person entering the contest, so it wouldn't be entered there. You would just have the spoilers following for this. So yeah, it's going to work out basically is what we've decided. Yeah.
And hey, before we jump into this one, can we kind of rehash the best our January poll, which is the best 2020 reads? Because that was a really fun one.
Yeah. So January was best reads in 2020, not best books that came out in 2020. It's like you as a contestant enter which 3 books you read in 2020 that you thought were the best. And the winner was at Ollie Ackers, I think, if I'm pronouncing that right. And their top 3 were To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini, which I actually recently read and reviewed. You guys haven't picked that one up yet, but I thought it was quite good. So well deserving. And Christopher got way into the competition and retweeted several times. And that had a little bit to do with the ultimate victory there.
Which we fully advocate. Any authors want to, if you want to tag authors, then
Anthony Ryan chose not to engage. Like he engaged by saying that he wouldn't engage.
I thought he retweeted.
Not Anthony Ryan. That was not Anthony Ryan.
Who is that? Who?
Paolini?
Joe Abercrombie.
That was not Joe Abercrombie. Man, if Joe Abercrombie engaged with us, I'd be hyped. No, that was he writes like the Jorg and the Red Queen. Ryan, you've read
Lawrence.
Mark Lawrence.
Okay.
Yeah, we almost had Mark Lawrence on the hook, but he was like, "No, I don't want to affect the results." Ultimately, that resulted in the L for the Mark Lawrence entry. So,
yeah, but Christopher Peloni was super generous, and it's cool to see his followers engage as well. So yeah, and I will say the previous two winners have both selected our merch. That it's like it's a black shirt with George R. R. Martin and Tolkien and Brando Sando and Rothfuss, and it's pretty cool swag. So
yes, there is a prize for winning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, check out our merch.
Yeah.
Same.
We should mention the other two entries in that winning one were Warbreaker from our man Sanderson, and and Wise Man's Fear from Pat. Yeah.
I mean, a strong he had a very exciting 2020.
For sure.
Those are some fun books to read.
Yeah,
so.
it's fun to see, and it's fun to engage and see what other people are reading and get some suggestions add to that TBR. Okay, I think we're ready for top fantasy romances. Yes.
I don't know if you're ready for my picks.
Are you starting off then?
Yeah,
I guess Ryan goes first.
All right.
Okay, Ryan. So maybe say one at a time, like as you're presenting the romance, say which book you're going to be talking about so people know.
All right. My number 3 pick is from the Raven's Shadow trilogy, specifically book 1, Blood Song. Is that good enough?
Yeah.
That's the warning.
So spoilers for Blood Song, guys.
Spoilers for Blood Song. I'm going to go with Valen and Sharon. I think their romance is a little bit short-lived, but it had a lot of tension leading up to it, and certainly when it actually happened, I was just beaming ear to ear, like, are you kidding me? Did that really just happen? And the line is still stuck in my head because they refer to each other. They're like they're part of these religious orders, and so they refer to each other as like Brother Valen and Sister Sharon, and the line that Sister Sharon uses right before she goes in for the romantic kiss is, "You're not my brother," right? Or
Ooh.
"I'm not your sister."
I'm not your sister, I think.
I am not your
I
sister.
messed that one up.
There's certainly no vagaries with this one.
So not incestuous, pretty awesome. My number 2 pick is from Red Rising.
No. Oh wait, I gotta take myself off for this.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah. Which
right,
the original trilogy, I'm assuming?
The original trilogy. I've
Okay.
not
Dang
read
it. This
books
is one of
5
my
or
picks
6.
too.
And it is going to be Darrow and Io. Just kidding.
You got me good.
It's Darrow and Mustang.
It's like, I mean, I guess the romance is okay, but
This is kind of like your typical Aladdin and the princess, where he elevates himself above his station and wins the girl's heart, but then she later finds out that he's not what he says he is. And it's pretty good. I like both Darrow and Mustang. I thought they're both well written characters, and I was rooting for
I'm into that one.
I was rooting for them all along, and it certainly had some interesting twists and turns, to say the least.
Ryan, I just want to piggyback because I had this one as well. I loved the ending where Mustang visits Darrow, and I want to leave it somewhat vague.
Yeah,
but like
we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was like the coolest scene, and there's a lot of suspense in that too. So.
All right. Well, how
Jake,
do we get?
have you read it, Jake?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
give Josh.
You're good, Josh.
Yeah, Josh is back in.
Okay.
All right, and for my number 1 pick, it is in the Lycanius trilogy, and those characters are Tal Kamar and Eliavia. This is literally just one of the most epic romances. It doesn't really take place much throughout the book, but the books revolve so much around this romance, especially as you follow Tal Kamar and his motivations, and there's just so much. Nethgalla comes in there, and it's just a lot of really good stuff. That is, I mean, Lycanius trilogy has a few good romances, but that is my top pick for
Wow.
fantasy. I just think that that romance kind of shapes that series in such a unique way.
Unique way. Yeah.
So yeah,
Underrated series. Underrated series.
Yeah.
definitely. Books
Although,
1 and 2.
yeah, the third.
Books 1 and 2 are phenomenal,
Top-notch.
and book 3 not quite as good, but it's still a really good series.
Yeah.
All right. Who's next?
Okay, I'll go. So before I get started, I just the more I thought about these, I really was tempted to choose a lot of romances that affected things off screen, actually similar to Darrow and EO, where you have like all these things that like it just I don't know.
Okay.
What
You're going
example,
for the deep cut romances, or what are you saying?
No, I was gonna, but like say for example, like Kelsey and Mare was one where I had on there,
Okay.
like where like you never actually meet Mare, but like she affected Kelsey a lot, and so
Okay.
I just like in my reflection, I thought it was cool when authors are able to pull off this like romance from afar almost.
Okay. I can see that.
I'm not gonna like list any of those as my top romances, but it was a cool reflection. Okay, so from Lightbringer, I'm gonna do Gavin and Karis.
Is this your number 3 pick?
Yeah. Well, yeah, this will be number 3. So
yeah, you got to give more of a pause between the announcement of the series and the
sorry. Okay.
the couple.
You know what?
That's okay though.
hopefully-
They're a thing from the very. We know there's something there.
Okay. You know what? This will actually be my top pick. I think we'll go top pick for Gavin and Karis. At least where I'm at. I'm only on book 3, so it might change or whatever. But like as of book 3,
Okay.
I really like them. So Gavin and Karis, I think that there's just a lot of tension there. There's kind of the twist that's prominent from about the middle of the first book really plays into that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jake and Steven are gonna love me for this one.
Caution.
So, Mistborn Era 2 ... I'm gonna say Wax and Steris. So I just finished up my reread of the series, and Steris, like the way that their relationship progressed was so like down to earth to me. Like how they've finally found love and they've kind of I don't know if you can call it love, but like they've accepted that they want to be a part of each other's lives and not just because of like a contract is binding them.
Mm-hmm.
And they've kind of accepted each other's idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, you got it.
And I don't know, it was very like for as rough as some of Brandon Sanderson's romances are, he kind of really nails the like grown-up romances. So
that's fair.
I really liked it. Okay. And since Ryan stole my Darrow, sorry, I'm not gonna go back to that one. Since Ryan stole my other pick, I did not spoil anything.
You came close though, man.
I simply listed
really
the main character in the series. So
series first.
So Mistborn Era 1, I'm going to say Vin and Ellen.
Oh, you stole mine. You stole mine.
Okay.
Wait,
I'm gonna
this
say
is a romance people like.
Yeah, so I didn't pay too much attention to this romance on my first read through. I really enjoyed it on my second read through, but the reason I'm elevating it so much is because my wife and my sister-in-laws, like everybody that I've saw that read it, really appreciates this romance.
Yeah, I have noticed that.
For them to keep reading
I have noticed that.
I'm elevating it based on being humble enough to change my opinion when other people tell me that something is good. So
yeah,
you couldn't let me have it. Who have defended this romance for years now.
Man, I'll agree with you. My aunt is reading it right now, and she's also pretty into the relationship. Personally, like not a big thing for me. Wasn't huge. It wasn't a detractor, but didn't really love it. But I see.
By the way, I'm
like
keeping it. Just so you know, I'm keeping it. I'm not bowing into this peer pressure.
All right.
Okay.
There are no rules that you can't have the same pick as somebody else.
I know.
I mean, I'm going to hold that against you and think that you just don't have enough fantasy knowledge to pick another one, but sure.
Hey, can I go next?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go next. So I'm going number 3. We talked about this series in the news portion. This is from the Powder Mage. Well, it's kind of from both of McClellan's series, Powder Mage and Gods of Blood and Powder. But the relationship starts in the Powder Mage trilogy, and it is between Taniel and Capel. And I think really more so like later on in the books and into the second series that I feel like this one really matures, and I see the relationship and the respect they have for each other. I think it's pretty well written. Initially, I feel like both the characters, I don't know, like Capola herself is a little hard to connect to at least at first, but later on, I really like this relationship. So that's gonna be number 3 for me. Number 2 is from the Gentleman Bastards series by Scott Lynch.
I've only read the first 2. Should I take off my
Yeah.
headphones?
Yeah, take off your headphones.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, because the majority of this actually happens in the third book, because this is the romance between Locke, Lamora, and Sabetha. The relationship between them mostly happens in the third with a bunch of flashbacks, and then she's actually in the book in the third. In the first 2, she's just kind of like vaguely referred to. But
Look at
I
those
thought the flashbacks...
stupid faces Ben's making.
What an idiot. Stole my book.
He's jealous. Anyway, Brian, don't interrupt me because I was
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the relationship is good, is what I'm saying, and I like the romance. There's some good teen angst, which I can always get behind.
Very competitive romance too.
Yeah, they're
really
both
well
really
done.
like. Yeah, she's definitely not like the damsel in distress character.
Yeah,
she's a very competent woman herself, which I feel like all 3 of my romances are actually. Leading to my third one, controversial pick. I know this is gonna be controversial.
Should we let Ben back in?
Yeah, Ben can come back. Give him a thumbs up.
I feel like you're gonna steal one of mine right now.
We're very lucky because my headphones just ran out of batteries and it started playing over the speaker on my computer. Literally, the first thing I heard was, "Should we let Ben back in?" So,
honestly, not much of a spoiler, but
yeah, I mean, just that something's gonna happen in the third. Okay, so. My next pick. This is controversial. I think Josh knows where I'm going. If you know what my favorite book is, you probably know what I'm gonna go for here. And I was gonna do this no matter what, so you guys can even if someone else took it, I was still gonna go for this.
Wait, so is this your top pick?
This is my top pick. This is from Name of the Wind. It's from King Killer, and it's between Quoth and Denna. So controversial. Some people hate this romance. They think it's ridiculous. They hate the characters. Whatever. I love this series. I love this romance. It doesn't go super well, but I think that their misunderstandings make a lot of sense, and they're both really well realized characters in of themselves. And the angst and just the back and forth between them as both young characters, and the mystery of what happened, we don't know. I really I really enjoy that one. So
I love it. It's so wistful, just the fact that they he's pining for her so much. I love it.
Yeah,
it's such a good pick.
He's always going back and forth trying to catch a glimpse of her, and she's there sometimes and she's not. And then the whole singing scene at the Aeolian.
Aeolian.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Yeah, the Lay of Sir Savian, who's my that's the impetus for my Discord username, Fantology Deep Cut. Anyway, I really like that one, so I'll stop talking now. So you guys can go, Jake and Josh.
You can go, Josh, unless you want me to go first.
Nice. Yeah, I'll go. Okay, so I'm gonna go with some pretty basic picks right now. These are way basic. And number 3, and I know that this is memed even in this episode, but I'm gonna say.
Are you gonna say the series? You're gonna say the series?
Oh, it's not even. It doesn't even matter.
Okay.
But Twilight.
Okay, sure.
Okay, Twilight does not care about being spoiled.
Yeah.
I'm saying Bella and Jacob. So
it's a good romance.
It's a good romance. And you know what? I read these in sophomore year, I think was when they were big for us. And all the girls that we associated with were really liked the series. And so I read it. And then Ryan took me to see it at the theaters because he really wanted to go see it.
Just a
And-
mandate.
Point of order. I did not take you. You took me.
Regardless of how that went,
You guys are related, right? Like this is probably not a good thing to pursue. Speaking of romances, controversial romances.
We'll see how the rest of his romance picks go.
I think I convinced Ryan that there are going to be a lot of girls at the theater that like were just wanting to meet guys or something. I don't know, but it was fun. But anyway, it was like actually a pretty, like the first real romance that I remember being pretty interested in, because I think when I was reading them, we didn't have a conclusion to who was going to end up with who. And this was like my first instance of really like shipping someone, and I was shipping Jacob. But then obviously like she should have ended up with Edward. I know I'm just gonna get torn apart for this on like Discord but it was big for me.
But she did end up with Edward.
Yeah, she ended up with Edward, and then
and
then Jacob imprinted on her
infant baby child.
Turns out I only watched the first. I was only able to watch the second movie and read the first book.
Oh.
I read the summary on Wikipedia.
The rest of the movies are decent. The books are decent. Steven, this is a blind spot for you, buddy.
The books are okay.
Really?
It's gonna remain a blind spot, I think. For now.
Honestly, if they would have, speaking of the Bella Jacob romance, if they would have ended at book 3, I think that would have been the perfect ending for their relationship, where Bella just decides to be with Edward, and then Jacob decides he can't live there because he loves Bella, and he just goes off on his own. Like, I think that was a great ending instead of the imprinting.
I think real fast, I think we should say if we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, then Stephen will read Twilight.
Yeah,
I think that's what we should do.
I want to I read them for the same reasons. Girls I was interested in liked them, so I read them. But then I just liked them. Like,
yeah, they were good.
I don't think they're amazing books. I think they're like okay, but they were enjoyable to read.
So are we reading and reviewing? I have to read and review?
Yeah. You have to read all 4 plus Midnight Sun, and we'll do.
Do people want this? Like, is this the thing people even? Is this a motivator?
That's why we see if they get to 1,000 likes. If they do, obviously they want it. So
1,000 likes or 1,000 views.
We're getting to that. Subs. No, 1,000 subs. We're getting to that number for sure.
Oh, okay.
All right. Number 2. Okay. Another one where I'm going to get torn apart for this, but from Harry Potter, I'm going with Ron and Hermione. And again,
okay, controversial.
You can deal with it. Controversial. And I will say, this is like a note that not the movie Ron and Hermione or the movie Jenny and Harry, because those were both just really weird. Part of it is maybe because Emma Watson is just like obviously so far out of his league, and the book gets a little bit more believable.
Yeah, we discussed this in Harry Potter Part 2. Rupert unfortunately is just not hot enough to make it make it work.
The book Hermione is very attractive as well. Okay, she gets
but I don't think it's.
The book Ron is more about the book Ron.
The book Ron, I think, is more like a headcanon. He's like more attractive than.
Like he has some swag going on in his own right.
Yeah,
he's juiced up on Lucky Juice Potion.
I feel like there were mostly just a bunch of unfortunate haircuts for Ron in the movies.
Yeah,
and hand me down. That was his main obstacle to overcome. The hand me downs.
He was unable to glow up like Neville Longbottom.
Yeah, or like Dudley Dursley apparently.
So he was in Queen's Gambit. He was in Queen's Gambit. I don't know if he glowed up.
He lost weight, but
did you guys see the meme where it's like the biggest difference between eye distance? It's like the girl has like eyes out here, and then he had eyes like right here.
It's unfortunate eye distances.
I didn't think anything of his looks until watching The Devil All the Time on Netflix, and he's in that, and he's so creepy in it. So I'm just creeped out whenever I see him now.
What about the Warrior Nun? No.
Another series that we decided not to watch because it wasn't
good.
Warrior
Nun, the one where they can't be killed.
Yeah, I know what one you're talking about, but the movie with what's her name?
He's also a villain in that movie.
The movie with Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what that's called, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, final pick, and I'm keeping it despite Ben just ruthlessly stealing it. Is Ben or
Mistborn
Mistborn
spoilers.
Era 1? Mistborn Era 1 spoilers ahead. Is Ben and Ellen. I really, really like them. And I have defended this relationship since I read the books. I thought that it was well done. I thought it was natural. I think that they fit each other well. I think that they complement each other well. Even though Vin was obviously like more powerful than he also like was more mature and like more emotionally stable and they complement each other really well in a lot of really important ways.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it wasn't the ending. This is spoilers for ending of Mistborn Era 1. Like you might want to stop listening, but it was like a well done tragic ending where it's not like they just lived with each other happily ever after, but it was a very fitting ending to the romance. And so there you go.
So there's been some criticism of that where Ellen becomes overpowered compared to Vin because I guess this is continuing for
Yeah, not really into that. I don't really see that.
I think at a surface level you could say that, but if you look into it, Vin, I mean, spoilers, Mistborn Era 1, Vin is still the hero. She saves the day. Ellen has more raw strength, but he does not have the understanding she does, or the finesse, or the technique that is what is required to do all the cool stuff.
Yeah, by the time you get to the end, Vin is the one doing the stuff.
Ellen is still a secondary character. Vin is the star. She is the hero. Like, I don't think that criticism.
Boom, boom, boom. Case closed.
If you look into it, yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Case closed.
All right, Jake, let's hear yours.
Okay, so starting off, I tried not to pull from this book because I feel like sometimes I do, and not a lot of us have read it. But Hyperion Cantos, I'm going to go with Cassad.
You guys won't even read this book.
I have it downloaded.
It's not really a spoiler. I'll use names, so it's not really spoilers. But
I'll use names, so it's not spoilers.
Yeah, like they have like titles. So, The Soldier and Moneta. Okay,
that's a good pick. Good pick.
The first time reading it, honestly, I was like, this kind of seems like whatever. But then once you finish the series, it's just such a cool sci-fi romance, and kind of has a little bit of that like wistfulness of Quoth and Dinah, of like there's like just this mystery behind it. Like, are you like, who is this person to the other one? How do they keep meeting up? Anyways, I like that one.
Has a unique timeline.
It does have a unique timeline. Yeah.
All right, tell Ben and Josh to come back on.
Yeah, come back. Second one, I'm going to go. This is a spoiler for Xenocide from the Ender's Game trilogy, quadrilogy. I don't know. I just don't know how.
I don't think I've read this one either.
Quartet.
I swear Ben and Josh have read this, but I'll wait till after.
I've only read through Speaker.
Oh, okay.
But continue on. I'm just taking in the spoilers.
Yeah, Miro and Jane. I think I just had a huge crush on the character Jane when I was reading the series, and then so any romance she was involved in, I was like, okay, this is put myself in this character's shoes. But
nice.
Really like that.
She's just way hot, or what?
Spoilers. Read and find out.
Okay. Okay.
And then
it's not
lastly,
all about hot, Steven.
Yeah, that's my bad. That's my bad.
You're good to come back on, Josh. And then lastly, from Lord of the Rings, I don't know if this even needs a spoiler warning, but Aragorn and Arwen. I think that's a really good love story, and especially when you include stuff from the Silmarillion as well, get a little bit more of that backstory. I think the movies do a really good job of tying that in. But
yeah, the books don't really. It's not that great of a romance in the books, I feel like.
if in the Silmarillion you get a little more, but yeah, the movies probably compile it into the best it is.
I thought you were gonna go Sam and Rose.
There, there were. I thought
Rosie?
about Sam
Yeah,
and
Rosie.
Rosie, and I also thought about
Sam and Bilbo, or Sam
No.
and Frodo.
oh, and Gollum in the Ring. No, Baron and Luthien. I thought about them as well. But
They are featured in Ready Player 2.
oh, are they Baron and Luthien?
Well, it's like important to the plot. The book sucks though. Don't read it.
Ready Player 2. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I've heard. I'll probably read it, but yeah.
There's a grade A romance in that book.
That romance. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's what the worst. Should we have a few more minutes? Should we talk about like worst romances? You just want to like troll
yeah.
on some things?
Yeah, let's talk about some worst ones.
I mean,
We
still
already
do the spoilers, but
yeah.
keep our
Okay,
spoiler
I got
tags in
one.
there.
I got one.
Or honorable mentions. Just a few minutes
Game
to
of
throw out
Thrones.
anything.
Game of Thrones spoiler. Jamie and Cersei.
Is honorable mention or worst?
Either
Both.
or.
They love each other. I mean,
I would
Steven's voice
say-
cracked when he's
He
getting
got
emotional.
Yeah.
they love each other.
I mean, the rocks just fell from the sky.
I got one.
Oh, spoiler.
Spoilers for Realm of the Elderlings.
Oh, new.
Cool.
Wait, is this
Wait.
the first? Is this
First trilogy, or
Throughout
Yeah, first trilogy.
I don't even know what this is, so I'm not
this,
listening.
the Robin Hood, the Fitz books.
Oh, Fitzbooks.
It's gonna be Molly and Burrich.
going for that's the worst, right?
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
Freaking-
Isn't Molly and Fitz pretty bad too? I didn't really like that as
this
much.
relationship? If you've never read the series or know what it is, it would be like if Hermione ended up with Hagrid.
Pretty much.
pretty much, yeah.
I felt like
Or
the-
Lupin. Lupin, maybe.
Yeah, and then the Fitz and Molly relationship was just like involved them getting together and just having sex as teenagers like rampantly, and that was their relationship. Wasn't really into it.
Sounds like real life.
Yeah, well,
Whenever I think about the relationship,
not my life.
it's like a big deep cut of Nickel Creek. There's a song by Nickel Creek called Haystacks, and I just think about that song. anytime.
Hayloft.
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 Any more honorable mentions or crappy ones?
There's lots of good ones in Stormlight Archive, so just kind of spoilers
Yeah.
for
Good ones or crappy ones?
no
Some,
honorable.
well, there's
mention.
both.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I like
Big Storm, like Yasna and Wit.
Yeah, going
It was a
straight
good one.
ahead through the most recent Stormlight book
Yeah,
with no
I
spoiler.
said full spoilers.
Okay, you think that's good? I'm not sure if that's good or not.
I like it.
I don't like it.
Okay.
I like it. I mean, I think I like it because of Yasna's like asexuality. Is pretty makes the
Yeah,
theory.
it's interesting. Yeah,
I can't see it actually going anywhere. I my mind can't comprehend wit.
yeah, it's just around the
Being-
information.
You can just end that sentence there, Jake. My mind can't comprehend wit either. Just
No, I can comprehend wit. I can't comprehend him settling, if
Mm.
that makes sense.
Yasna would be settling for Wit.
No, not
No,
not
no,
that
like-
not
like-
in that terms. Just
Oh,
Settling down.
settling down.
Yeah,
Yeah, settling down.
nesting. Yeah,
He was into your fingertips, though, man.
I think the best Stormlight Archive is the Dalinar Navani.
Yeah.
You know, you guys were talking about that and I liked it. And then when I told my wife I had to come up with some fantasy romances, she's like, well, I know Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and Stormlight. So she was trying to pick between those. And she was like, don't do Dalinar and Navani because she hates it.
Oh, really? Okay.
She thinks it's like a cheesy.
But has she hasn't read all of them, right?
She's read through Oathbringer.
Uh,
So she's read like most of their relationship.
okay. Well,
She
Not
said
everyone
that
likes
it just seems like look, old people can be in love too in a cheesy way.
oh, dang it!
can't.
I had a really good troll that I was going to do because I was going to pick Star Wars. I was going to pick
Oh, Ray.
Pat. I was going to say and a pick from Star Wars, Rey and Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
But that would have been a huge. But I was really thinking for my would be Anakin and Padme.
Oh, gosh.
Padme.
Yeah.
That's
So
a love hate
bad.
one. I love it so much.
It's so compelling. Like
but it's
just
so
not
bad.
the way it was done. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
like,
actually, yeah, I got down
tragic- the tragedy of it, of compelling him to like turn so evil,
Yeah, that
is like
part's
really
Yeah.
compelling. Yeah.
At the beginning, are you an angel? I mean, oh my gosh.
Come on, dude.
I'm a boy and my name is Anakin.
It's so bad, man. She's so much older than him. It's so weird.
She's not. She's like 6 years older than he is.
Yeah.
When it
Come on,
starts
we're
off, it's
talking-
hecka weird.
How come
He's 9 and she's 15. It's like a kid being like in love with his babysitter. It like happens all the time.
Josh is speaking from experience.
No, I'm just
right,
saying
we-
it's like a thing.
All right, we have time for like one or two more honorable mentions or tragedies or crappy ones.
How come we
There were-
never talk about the Kenobi TV show that's going to come out?
Oh, I'm excited for that.
We just don't know when it's coming out. It's next year.
I heard that Hayden Christensen might be in it too.
He's in it.
He was
As Darth
rumored
Vader.
for episode 3 before, or episode 9 before episode 8 came out.
He's
and I don't know if-
confirmed to be in it, to be in
Oh, he's
Kenobi.
confirmed. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, wait. So sorry to go back. Well, I don't know that much about the series because I just watched the TV show. But what about The Witcher? I feel like that romance is
I like it.
criticized. And
Oh
also-
yeah, I like that one a lot. Yeah.
I only know it from Last Wish and the TV show, but I
Yeah.
really like it.
I don't like the books like later on in the series. I just think there's some weird decisions made in the books, but I'm like pretty into Yennefer and Geralt.
Again,
I'm excited for
like
season 2. I
like
can remember their names, Ryan. I'm sorry. I forgot for a
You
second.
just said I'm pretty into Yennefer and Geralt.
Well, that's also true.
That's also another good like
I'm
competitive
pretty
romance.
sure everybody's into Geralt, even if you're not into.
I
Anyway,
think meant to say I was just like into Yennefer.
You know what? Back to Game of Thrones. For spoilers, through book, I don't know. The whole show and spoilers to probably
Sure.
book 4, 3 or 4. No, I think through book 4. Or is it, I don't know. Maybe book 5. Sorry, guys. I don't know. Honestly, the books I read them so long ago. But John and Ygritte, I think that was a really good romance.
That was, yeah. And the fact that they're married in real life with the kid now, I think, right?
I think it's
Oh,
book
really?
3.
Man, that is a good
Was it book
romance.
3? Yeah,
That's
that,
ridiculous.
I'm
good
not, can't
romance.
remember.
that one almost made the list
Yeah.
for me. I really like
Yeah.
them.
It's a honorable mention. No Wheel of Time. Let's wrap up. No Wheel of Time mentions.
Come
What's
on,
up with
man.
that?
I almost did Luce Theron and Ilyana just for the meme,
Yeah.
but I
Ben
also
would have
like
done Rand and Elaine.
Rand and Elaine definitely is not the pick, guys.
I'll say Matt. I'm not gonna say this.
I like-
That's more of a later on in the series, but Matt gets into a good one at the end. I think
Yeah,
that,
I like his.
Yeah.
I like Tom's.
that's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Wrapping up. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to be a part of the top 3 fantasy romances, despite the potential for spoilers, you can follow us on Twitter and submit your entries. You can also follow on Discord or join the chat on Discord and let us know what you think about our picks and what picks you might have. And if you want to support the show, you can do that at patreon.com/phantology_books. I guess I should also mention we have a website. So if you want to see more episodes, that's at www.phantologybooks.com. Yeah, that's the right URL. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to your picks. And thanks, Phantology 5 team.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Phantology. If you'd like to let us know your opinions on all things sci-fi and fantasy, join our Discord. Invites are in the episode descriptions below. If you'd like to support the show, like these fine folks here, you can do that at patreon.com/phantology_books. Patrons get early access to new episodes, exclusive postings, and exclusive Discord benefits. But of course, just listening and watching and sharing with your friends and family is support enough. Journey before destination all.